The news. Okay. I look tired because I am. But today we're going to talk about American chestnut extinction because it happened in the early 20th century because a bunch of Japanese people brought trees from Japan and they had chestnut blight, but they didn't know that because Asian chestnuts are not susceptible to chestnut blight. So basically, chestnut blight is like the potato blight, except it affects trees, and we don't really rely on trees as a food source like the Irish relied on potatoes as a food source, so we didn't really notice it was happening. So by the time we did notice, we couldn't really do anything about it. The American chestnut used to be the predominant species in parts of the U.S., mostly the part of the U.S. where we don't live, so it didn't really matter to us at the time. We didn't care because we didn't have American chestnuts. By us, I mean California. But by 1926, the blight had wiped out 4 billion trees, which marked it as extinct. So 4 billion trees is basically like if 4 billion people died, except not because we wouldn't be extinct. So I guess just imagine 4 billion big things being there 1 second and then about a few decades later them not being there. That's basically what happened. But since the extinction there have been not that many survivors. But scientists are attempting to bring back American chestnuts to put them back in the wild. What they're doing is they're breeding chestnuts with Asian trees that have a resistance to the blight. So that means they won't die because of tree disease. So since these are being produced, that means they'll look like American chestnuts, but they'll have a different gene code, so they won't really be American chestnuts, but it doesn't matter because they won't die the second they're planted. But that's pretty cool. We'll have trees that we had almost 100 years ago on the planet again, like we're trying to do with mammoths, but that's a different story because I'm not talking about mammoths. I'm talking about trees. And Connor, you might say, trees are animals, and you're absolutely correct. But I think trees are just as important as animals because, well, animals give us pictures that make us say, aw, trees give us oxygen, and I think that's a pretty good thing to have. And now the weather, it doesn't make sense.